Outbreak consumes hectares of land in Kenya. President Akufo-Addo to address Ghanaians over cost of living. Lockdown resurfaces in China as COVID-19 rages again.
This is the news.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to the transmission of results to the INEC result viewing portal in real time for the 2023 elections. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance at the Commission's quarterly meeting with political parties for the year 2022 in Abuja. He said there is also no going back on the deployment of the Model Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, for voter accreditation.
Working with political parties and other stakeholders, the Commission has so far successfully implemented 9 out of 14 activities for the general election. We are also making a steady progress in other critical areas of preparation for the election, including the provision of sensitive and non-sensitive materials, the recruitment of staff, and planning for the movement of personnel and materials for the election.
The INEC boss assured Nigerians that the process of cleaning up the voter register is robust.
Cleaning up of the data using the automated biometric identification system, a total of 2,780,756, or 22.6% of new voters, were identified as ineligible registrants and invalidated from the record.
The INEC chairman also said over 9 million new voters have been added to the existing register of over 84 million voters. And a fire outbreak has consumed hectares of bushland in Kenya's Mount Longonot, which is a popular destination for hikers in a Rift Valley region. The Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, says in a statement that it put out the fire that began on Thursday. It refuted rumors circulating on social media that there have been volcanic eruption and said it wanted to assure that the park is safe for all to visit. The mountain, which is a dormant volcano, has been one of the most talked about topics on Twitter, with some users claiming they experienced earth tremors as a result of the supposed eruption. And a former Ghanaian president has urged the government to curb corruption and reduce the number of political appointees to address the current economic crisis. John Dramani Mahama says state institutions with similar functions should be realigned to reduce pressure on the public purse. Speaking at a forum dubbed Building the Nation We Want, Mahama called for the dismissal of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and a change of government's economic management team. Mahama then urged the government to cushion the public against fuel price hikes with proceeds from the country's oil revenue. President Nana Akufo-Addo will be addressing the nation on Sunday regarding the cost of living. And the United Nations Security Council has voted for the resumption of negotiations between parties to the disputed Western Sahara. The resolution called for the parties to resume negotiations in good faith with a view to achieving lasting and mutually acceptable political solution for Western Sahara. 13 countries in the 15-member council voted in favor of the resolution, with Kenya and Russia abstaining. Western Sahara, a former Spanish colony, is disputed by the Algerian-backed Polisario Front and Morocco. Morocco controls around 80% of Western Sahara, and the rest is held by the Polisario movement, which fought with Morocco for years after Spanish forces withdrew in 1975. The 16-year-old long insurgency ended with an UN-brokered truce in 1991 and the promise of a referendum on independence, which has yet to take place. And diamond magnate Sam Matekane will be sworn in as Lesotho's new Prime Minister at Setsoso Stadium in Maseru following the 7 October parliamentary elections. His Revolution for Prosperity party, formed earlier this year, won the polls to garner an outright majority in the 120-seat parliament, leading to the formation of a coalition government with the Alliance for Democrats and Movement for Economic Change parties. For a decade, none of the Lesotho's political parties has garnered enough votes to form a government on its own. The country has been run by coalition governments that have proved fractious and no Prime Minister has served a full 5-year term. And troops clashed with M23 rebels around a strategic highway in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The M23 resumed fighting in late 2021 after lying dormant for years. It has since captured swaths of territory in North Kivu province, including the strategic town of Bunagana on the Ugandan border. The group's resurgence has destabilized regional relations in Central Africa, with the DRC accusing its smaller neighbor Rwanda of backing the militia. The front line between Congolese troops and M23 rebels have been calm in recent weeks when clashes erupted again. And President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia has launched more than 30 drone attacks on Ukraine in just 2 days. The top U.S. diplomat accused Russian commanders of using the devices to kill Ukrainian civilians and destroy the infrastructure that rely on electricity, water, heat during a visit to the Canadian capital, Ottawa. Western officials believe Iran has supplied a large number of drones to Russia, but Moscow and Tehran denied it. Blinken said Canada and the United States will keep working with their allies and partners to expose the data and to counter Iran's provision of these weapons. But Iran has repeatedly denied that it has struck any arms deal with the Kremlin, and Moscow also denies using Iranian drones. Iran's Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdullahian called the accusations baseless and urged Ukraine to present any evidence supporting the accusations. And more than 800,000 people across China, including Wuhan, where the coronavirus was first recorded, have gone into a lockdown as the country pursues leader Xi Jinping's zero-COVID policy. The city of Zhengzhou, home of the world's largest iPhone manufacturing plant, was also affected. It comes as China reported a third straight day of more than 1,000 cases. Earlier this week, in-person schooling and dining in at restaurants were suspended in the southern Chinese hub of Guangzhou, which reported 19 new virus cases. Some neighborhoods in the city also remain subject to various control measures. And Russian President Vladimir Putin said the world is facing the most dangerous decade since the end of the World War II. President Putin also accused the West of nuclear blackmail against Russia to force allies to turn away from Moscow. Earlier this week, the NATO military alliance condemned unsubstantiated claims by Russia that Ukraine might use a dirty bomb, conventional explosives laced with radioactive material. However, he has repeatedly warned that Russia would use all available means to protect itself in what has been widely seen as a clear nuclear threat. To end global news, a recap of our top stories. We told you that a fire outbreak has consumed hectares of bushland in Kenya's Mount Longonot, which is a popular destination for hikers in the Rift Valley region. And Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo will be addressing the nation on Sunday regarding the cost of living. And more than 800,000 people across China, including Wuhan, where the coronavirus was first recorded, have gone into lockdown as the country pursues leader Xi Jinping's zero-COVID policy. That's Global News Editor, Patience Ibe, and Michael Akintunde. Good afternoon.